Why do some photographs feel alive while others feel flat? Is it your camera? Is it your lens? Is it because you weren't standing in the right place? Today, I'm going to show you the 3 main reasons why your photos feel flat and show you how you can fix each one of them. Let's start with this photograph. I made this image while photographing the tiny Pacific island nation of Tuvalu in a story that appeared with National Geographic. Take a moment to really look at it. What is your eye doing? Where does it go first? And where does it go next? If your eye is moving through the frame instead of stopping in one place, then that's no accident. One of the biggest reasons photographs feel flat is that they don't take the viewer on a journey. In this video, I'm going to show you the 3 principles that I use to create photographs that have depth. And I'm going to use examples from my more than 20 years of assignments from around the world. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for before you press the shutter. Oh, and make sure to watch to the end because I've got a simple assignment that will help you put these ideas into practice, and you'll learn how to share images with me for feedback. The first reason photographs feel flat is because they don't take your eye on a journey. Let's look back at the first photograph. Now, where did your eye go first? Most people notice the motorbike as it's the closest subject to the camera. There are people in the frame and it's kind of naturally where our attention is drawn to. But then something interesting happens with this image. Your eye doesn't just stop there. Instead, it follows the road, along the palm trees, and then finally all the way to the horizon. You probably didn't even realize your eyes were doing that, but that's exactly why this photograph feels alive. Because good photographs don't simply show us the subject, they kind of invite us to explore the image, and that's because of the composition. Now with this particular image, before I even launched my drone, I noticed this incredibly narrow strip of land that separated the Pacific Ocean on the left and the lagoon on the right, and I realized that if I could just wait for someone to ride into the frame, the road would kind of naturally guide the viewer's eye through the photograph. So I wasn't just looking for an interesting subject, I was looking for a way to lead you, the viewer, through the picture. And photographers often call these leading lines, but I actually prefer to think of them as kind of like visual pathways, because they don't always have obvious lines. And even light and shadow can guide the viewer through a photograph. So it's anything that really encourages the eye to keep exploring the photo, and it becomes part of that visual journey into the photograph. So next time you're out with your camera, ask yourself, what am I photographing? And think about how can I lead the viewer's eye through this picture to maybe something else that I also want them to see. And this approach will completely change the way that you compose your photographs. But here's the interesting thing. Even if you create strong visual pathways, your photographs can sometimes feel flat. And that's because they need one more ingredient. Okay, so we've learned how to lead the viewer's eye through a photograph, but if your composition has that strong visual pathway, your images can sometimes still feel flat, and that's because they might not have any depth. Now take a look at this photograph. At first glance, you might notice the giant billboard in the background, but spend a little longer looking at it. There's something happening almost everywhere that you look. We have this man close to the camera in the foreground. We have more people crossing the bridge in the middle of the frame. And behind them, this enormous advertisement towering over the entire scene. So instead of looking at one flat picture, we're actually looking through several different layers. Now each layer adds another piece of information into the image, and together they create a much stronger sense of depth. Okay, here's another example, and this photograph works in a quite a different way. The child that's running through the foreground is completely out of focus. And in fact, if this was the only subject that I had in the frame, I probably would have deleted the picture. They're actually acting as this foreground layer. Now, if you look behind them, there's another child swimming through the water. So suddenly the photograph feels much more immersive. It almost feels like you're standing beside the pool watching this scene unfold. So when I'm photographing, I'm rarely thinking about just one subject in the picture. I'm always asking myself, can I build layers into this picture? Is there something interesting close to me? Is there something happening in the middle distance and maybe in the far back of the picture? Can I create this layering effect in my photos? The more those layers kind of work together, the more three-dimensional your photographs and your pictures begin to feel. And one of the biggest mistakes photographers make is standing too far away from everything. Try taking a wider perspective. Don't just fixate on one subject. Think about what's happening in front of it, what's happening behind it, and how all those different layers can work together to tell a story. That's one of the reasons that my favorite lens is a 35mm, because it's a very close way in which we actually naturally see the world. And it encourages you to move closer to the action instead of kind of zooming in. And I also tend to like to use the F number around 8 because that kind of gives me this good depth of field where I can get a lot in focus from the foreground all the way to the background. Of course, there are times when a shallow depth of field is exactly the right kind of creative choice that you want. But when I'm trying to tell a story with my picture and create a sense of place, I usually want the viewer to explore the whole scene, not just one part of it. And I find that a wider view often works best for this. So if you want to make your photographs feel less flat, try putting on a wider lens. Get that F number to around 8 so you've got lots in focus through the frame, and think about those layers instead of just a single subject. Okay, so we've learned how to guide the viewer's eye, and we've learned how to create depth. But there's one more reason why photographs often feel flat. And that's because they're made at exactly the same perspective that everyone else sees. Take a look at this image that I made while I was photographing a story about rising sea levels in Jakarta. So instead of staying at street level, I actually climbed onto a bridge overlooking this river. That higher perspective allowed me to include much more than just the river. You can see the small boat in the foreground and those kind of informal settlements lining the banks of the river. And then finally beyond them, we've got that modern skyline rising in the distance. So by simply changing my position, I was able to tell a much bigger story within one single frame. Sometimes though, the best perspective isn't higher, it's actually lower. If you look at this photograph, I climbed down into a drainage channel and put my camera right next to the ground. And suddenly you can see that the rubbish becomes part of the foreground. You have those walls of the drain that create depth and lead your eyes towards those people walking above in the background. It's like you're seeing it from the viewpoint of a small insect or animal inside the scene, looking up at the world. And this gives real depth to the photo. One of the biggest mistakes that I see photographers make is that they photograph everything from eye level. And that's because, that's how we experience the world every day. But photography gives us the freedom to show people life from a different point of view. Now, sometimes that might mean climbing higher to get a different viewpoint. Sometimes it might be getting down low. Sometimes it's about just taking a few steps to the left or the right. But changing your position can often dramatically change the photograph. So next time you're out taking photos, before you press the shutter, just stop for a moment and ask yourself, is this the most interesting place to stand? And if the answer is no, don't be afraid to move to a different place. Look around your subject. Look for different viewpoints that might be more interesting until you find a perspective that just makes the scene more dynamic and gives it that depth that we're looking for. So before I make a photograph, I ask myself 3 kind of simple questions. First, where will the viewer's eye travel? Then, does it have a sense of depth? And then I check, am I standing in the right place? And if you ask yourself these three questions the next time that you're out taking photographs, I think they'll completely change the way that you compose your images. Okay, now it's your turn. This video's assignment is pretty simple. I don't want you to take hundreds of photographs, but I want you to make one that you're really happy and proud of. I want you to find a scene that interests you and use these three principles that we've discussed in this video. So that's leading the viewer's eye, trying to create depth, and finding an interesting perspective. And when you're taking pictures, don't rush. Move around, be patient, change your angles, look at those different layers, and when you're happy, then make your picture. Now, if you'd like some feedback, I'd really like to see the images that you're creating. If you're a member of the photographer's studio, you can upload your image to our dedicated assignment area. It's called the Member Image Review Space. And in that space, you'll receive feedback from me, as well as photographers from our global community. So if you'd like to chat about joining the photographer's studio, then feel free to send me a message, either on WeChat or on WhatsApp. And I'd be happy to look at some of your photos and learn more about your photography journey and help you decide if the photographer's studio is the right fit for you. Now remember, photography isn't something that you master simply by watching videos. You improve by being intentional with your practice. Learn one skill, go out and practice it, reflect on your results, get some feedback, and then go out and do it again. That's exactly how photographers improve. So grab your camera and give this assignment a try. And if you're a member of the photographer's studio, remember to upload your photos there, and I'll see you inside the community. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.